All right, guys, so now I'm finally getting to the video I was going to do yesterday, but something else came up, so here we are today. And I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit because there does seem to be a slight update to this scenario. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So it starts off with this article on The Gamer. It says Switch 2 player warns people to be careful buying used Switch 1 games after nightmare outcome. And I'm going to explain what that is. So the article does start off. It says Nintendo is taking no prisoners when it comes to piracy with the Switch 2. And yeah, they have been doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on stuff when it comes to the piracy, almost to the point where, not even almost, to the point where it's blatant anti-consumer. Even if that means catching legitimate players in the crossfire, this is going to be an example of exactly what happens. As reported by Metro, one user was banned after inserting a secondhand game into their console, restricting them from using the eShop and downloading any of their own games. Thankfully, customer support were immediately helpful in getting them unbanned after they provided screenshots of the Facebook Marketplace listing where they bought the cartridge. It says, be careful buying used Switch 1 games. U Diamanthy warned. So that's their username on Reddit. You can get banned if you had a bad actor dumped it. Having said that, Nintendo is amazing and will help you get it back up and running, which I'm a little shocked, to be honest with you. So maybe Nintendo's trying to save a little bit of face here. The secondhand Switch market just got a whole lot riskier. So here's a Reddit post that says, Switch 2 users, be careful buying used Switch 1 games. You can get banned if a bad actor dumped it. And what they're talking about here is the MIG cartridges where you can back up games onto it. Having said that, Nintendo support is amazing and will help you get it back up and running. Last month, so basically the update is as far as we knew up until this point, they were still waiting on customer service to help them. Nintendo had not actually done anything for them as yesterday, as far as when I was reading this article. So that's what I mean when I say they kind of updated the situation. Now, as far as the screenshot goes, here on the Linus Tech Tips Reddit, you can see that there is an actual screenshot posted here. Now, we've seen this screenshot from numerous reasons before where people were getting banned using the MIG switch, but my understanding is this is the particular person's case. Anyway, so moving on, it says last month it came to light that Nintendo was cracking down on the MIGs. These are blank switch compatible cartridges that players can dump their legitimately owned games on while also using them to swap between titles without having to finagle between boxes. However, they are also used to store and play pirated copies of games. As such, Nintendo has taken a hard stance against all MIG cartridges breaking consoles if they're detected. And I'm going to go on my rant here about that in a minute. It appears that the user was targeted because whoever sold their game on Facebook Marketplace had dumped them onto a MIG beforehand so that they could make some money back while keeping the copy. That is scummy, shitty behavior. Because Nintendo detected that the same version of the game was being played on two consoles at once, a ban was automatically doled out. This presents a pretty big issue for the secondhand marketplace. Yes, it really does. Oh, by the way, here's a note here too. As for the customer support, told the user that they can now use the cartridge and even resell it if they choose. So it sounds like they probably banned the other person's use. So anyway, as it turns every purchase into a gamble. If someone has stored the game, you could be faced with a ban. Several commenters report several situations with the user even getting banned after borrowing a game from the library when someone had clearly copied onto a MIG. Customer support are undoing these bans quite quickly, so your console won't be permanently bricked if you buy a cartridge from a bad actor, but it still makes resales riskier than ever. So I can understand where people might say, oh, well, this is the whole MIG cartridge's fault that this is happening. And I mean, while that might seem like a legitimate argument, I would argue that this is more on Nintendo than anything else. They're going to fight and fight and fight all this piracy to the bitter end. And in the end, pirates are eventually going to win. That's just how this always goes. So you got all these legitimate customers getting caught in the crossfire, and they're going to end up digging themselves an early grave, just mostly because they're doing all of these shitty anti-consumer business practices, even more so than they have in the last few years. And a lot of people are taking notice. All the eyes are on Nintendo right now. And the more they keep doing this, the more people are going to turn away from Nintendo. I'm one of those people that have been a long time Nintendo fan. And recently I just turned away, not because of this particular situation, but because of other situations. Most notably because of their lawsuit against Pocket Pair, which I've already made a whole video about that. So I'm not going to get into that. The point is, Nintendo is really going to have to win a lot of goodwill back for a lot of people. And that's going to be harder than ever. These anti-consumer practices that these companies are starting to do more and more is just getting so tiring. And it's why more often than not now, I just go to the indies and buy indie games. If you can find a good, fun indie game that will suit you, go indies before you even try to go out and buy a AAA game. Look and see what the indies are offering first. We need to start hitting these companies in the wallet or they're never going to listen. Now, to be fair, a lot of us have been doing that for a long time, and these big companies think they're untouchable because no matter what, there's always going to be those people out there that are going to buy a Nintendo product no matter what, and B, for whatever reason, they're gonna defend this shitty behavior by this company. So at this point, there's nothing you can really do about them. The best thing you can do is, if you take a stand, and even if you feel like you're doing it alone, you're still going in the right direction. These companies won't change until they actually get hit in the pocketbook. It might take a long time before they notice, but if enough people do it, they will take notice. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, please give the video a like. And if you're new here and you like this content, please feel free to subscribe. I would appreciate it. All right, peace out, everybody.